Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, Bubba and I are on our trip back to the property. He was all excited to go this time. I mean, he was ready to go. So we're going down to the property to, I'm driving here, so you know, sometimes it's a little difficult to navigate things. But anyway, we're going down to the property, and it's a gorgeous day. We're about a week and a half or so away from Thanksgiving. And so we're going down to the property to take care of some things. We got a property line to see if I can mark out. The survey people didn't flag it, so I have the coordinates. And I need to mark the corners. I think I've got a, I don't know what they call it. I think it's called a state line, something like that, coordinate. I know I'm messing that up. At the correct term escapes me at the moment. And then we have some more clearing to do on the front of the property. I didn't realize it before. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but our property extends across the road and there's an easement through it, so other people can get to their property, so it's totally understandable. But those oaks across the street are basically on our property, which is, I didn't know that. I still find that pretty fabulous. They have to be, you know, hundreds of years old. I would say more than 100, less than 3. But we got that clearing up to do on the front. And then if time and materials arrive and allow, then we're going to start a fence across that front and start marking that out. If some of the materials are there, then maybe I'll start laying posts and painting. Not going to finish the whole thing. I mean, we're talking 700 feet or more, actually. More than 700 feet. So anyway, that's it. We traveled this morning. Just a lot of exciting things happening in America since the last election. And this morning we find out that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been appointed Health and Human Services Secretary, which is a big boon, and good for America in terms of our foodstuffs. But one of the things that, you know, to get healthy, and I think I mentioned this in my first video, one of the things we need to do, I think, to get healthy is to do actual things. It's fine to sit behind a desk and whatnot. It's fine to read books all day, you know, or it's fine to read books anyway. But if you don't get out and do things, then you're denying your body its natural abilities to do what it was meant to do. And that is to labor, to create, because Socrates did that, right? So we're going down to do some laboring, and of course by night we'll be, you know, pulling out the iPad, because I'm loaded down this time. I don't have any books with me. We'll pull out the iPad and do some reading by the campfire. That's pretty much it. We'll update you as we go. All right, hang loose. MAGA 2024. Well, Bubba and I have finally made it to the property. Not much has changed since we last were here, except we're adding a tent this time. Last time we stayed in the Kia. Boy, that was no bueno. But thought I would. Nothing much has really changed here, except we're going to add to the shop. So these here are about 13. I brought a tape measure this time, which I forgot and left at home last time. These are about 13, 5, 6, I think, on center. And this will be the back of the shop here. And this is 40 feet across. We're gonna add one more of these. So we're gonna come all the way to about here. It's gonna be basically 40 by, it's gonna be bigger than 50. It's gonna be 40 by 51, 52, something like that. And these water oaks, I will get rid of because, not that I necessarily want to. One of them kind of looks like a live oak, which I really would hate to get rid of. But in a storm, if the wind's blowing this way, it's going to hit them. So it behooves us to get rid of them, unfortunately. Of course, there's one there, and I know that is a live oak. I know that's a live oak, and of course, the awesome one that we're staying under every time we come here is a live oak. So we did that. Hopefully this weekend, the new post will be set, making it basically a 40 by 52-ish. Or a 30 by 52 garage. I get them all mixed up. I've been driving all day. I get dingy. One last thing, before we close, and then we're gonna get busy tomorrow cleaning up stuff and then setting the line for the fence and the front gate. And I'll explain that when we get to that part tomorrow. My helper, Bubba, is no help at all, but he's having a good time. One thing I wanted to do here, when I was down here a month ago, I planted right there Carolina pine, the long leaf. I'm not sure what species, Bubba. I'm not sure what species, particular species it is, but we planted, I planted it. It's doing great. It's not dying. Gonna get some water tomorrow and water it anyway. But I'm probably gonna put a few of these babies in a line, and maybe a line that way. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how I'm gonna orient it. But I wanted to bring something from essentially my second home, which has become my first home for many decades now, North Carolina. And I wanted to bring something with me that would remind me of the old North State. So, okay, so tomorrow, got a beautiful sunset. It's about, what time is it? It's a little after 5. Sun is setting. It's a beautiful day today. Blue skies, totally blue. Sun, high 70s, low, maybe it touched 80. Maybe they gave 80 a little kiss. But we're gonna be in the 40s tonight, so we're gonna be cool. And tomorrow's a new day. So tonight we're gonna light a fire. I've got food I'm gonna warm up for the Bubba Meister so he can be ready to go tomorrow. And I brought some stuff as well, and I'm gonna do something I haven't done in decades. And that's right. When was the last time you perked? Man, I haven't done that for, I can't remember. Fresh brewed coffee, old-fashioned style. Yeah, hang loose. Wake up, pray up. Woke up this morning, started a fire, of course, first thing. It's amazing how you can see in the horizon here, just a layer of like a fog all over the place. 49 degrees. Started a fire, perked some coffee, got the coffee. Last night was a super moon. It's still out. Bubba is hungry, so he's eating like no tomorrow. I had to give him some medicine this morning too, and he was a little uncooperative. But today is no other dogs are around. Come on. Today is getting the gate post set. I said that I would explain a little bit about what that looks like. We're going to take 2 of these 20-foot 8x8s, and those are going to be spanned about 12 feet apart. And on those 2 posts, we're going to have I'm going to have to take care of a dog. We're going to have the gate hang off them, and then it's going to be regular farm fence, and I'll be right back. Okay, where was I before Bubba went all ape shit on me? Poor boy. New sounds. He's not used to stuff, so kind of curious George. You can see he's still curious Georging. Then again, you know, he's always like that. So anyway, these 2 posts, we're going to replicate those 8x8s, 20-footers. Those are going to go on the front of the property, and I'm going to build at approximately 12 feet apart for either 2 6-foot fences or 1 big 12-foot fence, gate. And then I'm going to build a farm fence on 8-foot centers. With you know, a three rail fence essentially, and paint it white. So anyway, that's I'm laying out at least the posts so I know where they want to go, and then you always want to go at about some sort of a degree of angle, 45-degree angle. You know, the fence lines here, and then the angle, and then the gate, and then the angle back, and then the fence continues on in a relatively straight line. That's so big rigs can get in, or a big trailer. You know, you never know what you're going to need or have or be faced with. So you always want that indent so rigs with trailers can get in much more much easier than if it just went straight across and it's a straight fence, especially if it's not a straight shot. And in this case, you know, off a main road, a driveway is not a straight shot. So there's some turning involved. So that's why, and that's what part of what we're up to today. And the rest of the part, as Bubba tries to find something, we'll go as we go. The supermoon, the fog, the fire, hey, and the coffee, which was actually, to be quite honest with you, pretty damn good. All right, hang loose. Seriously, it's too big for you. I mean, this is all he wants to do all day long. Can we play stick? We're getting into small log. So this is the road, the easement. There's our property, and there's the tentative fence line. The string is bowed, but because someone went through it, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm right about to here. I'm still clearing all this right here, but everything looked like that down there, kind of about 2 feet, 3 feet off the road. So I've done from about here all the way back to clear it out. Maybe more of the road can be used now. And I'm started a pile right there. It's a huge pile now. I'm only going to go to the oak fence. I'm only going to go to the oak line here. You can finally see part of the fence here in places where the property goes all the way to that. And then there's a farm on the other side of me. And cornfield is there. I'm not sure what they plant in here though. But, so anyway, we're going to go down just a little bit further. And then that's it. I just wanted to clear the part where we'll get to the gate. So, and that's why I've ended my stake there, and then I drew a string line right on the property line the other side of the easement. So this is still pretty much on the easement boundary, although our property goes all the way over there. So the easement here, the road is for the road, and it's 20 feet. And it's so people can get to their property, of course, which is only right. So 12-foot span of gate with two, where those two colored posts are. I may tweak them a little bit, and I may push that one back actually. But that's 12 feet there in between them, and then 45-degree angles. Now, the 45-degree angle on this side will miss that tree right there, and I think that's pretty good. So if anybody's going to be in a big trailer, then they're going to be swinging in this way, then you need to have this this offset by a few degrees. I just went 45 because 45 was pretty easy, and I figured it would be maybe it's too much, but I figured it would be right. So that would probably come to right about here, and then I got 45 degrees on the other side too, just because I wanted to see. There's no easy way to do this with the placement of the driveway. I could go less than 45, but I like symmetry. So if I'm going to do a degree on one side, I want to do a degree the same on the other side to make it symmetrical. So it comes 45 on this side. Now I don't know if I'm going to keep it like this. That's why I haven't staked or painted anything yet. These are all pretty much temporary. So so this is 45 here as well. But I really don't foresee anybody coming. I guess they could have, since I've cleared, they could come all the way over into the part that I've cleared out and do a swing, but it would be tough. But I really don't expect that. I expect anything with a trailer and whatnot to come from down here that way. But anyway, we'll wait until the builder gets here. He's got the lumber, but he may not be here today because he blew a seal on his trailer, which is a common occurrence. So I'm gonna do a little bit more of this, then we're gonna take a break. Bubba has been running around the whole time. Look at this dog. Oh, it's kind of nice being out here, by the way. People are lining in their sights on their rifles today, and yeah, actually, you know, freedom. I was just thinking while I was taking a break this afternoon that this property that we bought has been untouched. It's never been modified, developed. Part of the reason you can tell that is because of the state that it's in. It's had several decades of down trees, old trees that have gotten diseased and collapsed, trees that have been capped by hurricanes. And it was like that before. Debbie and Helene and Idalia came through here, which is an anomaly, by the way. The 3 hurricanes that came through here, there really had never been much of a direct hit on this area for 75 years. But I was just sitting here looking at everything, which looks like chaos, and there's just tons of downed trees everywhere, and it's bushy, and you might think that this is what America used to look like before people came here. And how rare is it today to find a piece of land that has been untouched by human beings, and give you the blank canvas to do what you will with it. Now, in my youth, never, we didn't have any oak near us, so the wood that we had, which was mostly pine, burns quick. But oak burns very slowly and very steady. And there's nothing to do. You can't reclaim a lot of these trees and like sell it. Pretty much of all the downed trees, and man, there's tons of more. You know, this right here is about 2 acres that has been cleared away, roughly. And we have enough, and we're not going to clear the whole land. I'm going to leave it and clear as I go. But we have enough wood here to last us for the rest of our lives. And I'm talking about downed, dead, seasoned wood. Because it burns slow. But it does put out heat. But back to the original point, yeah, it's very rare you can find a strip of land of this size that is pretty much I gotta light my cigar. That has pretty much been untouched. Most of the properties that you find these days are properties that state legislatures have, or cities, towns have zoned as residential, and that usually means it comes attached with it an HOA, a homeowners association. So what you're buying, for the most part, there are exceptions to the rule, but it gets very expensive if you go above an acre or above. Like, for example, there's a place near where we live, an HOA, that's selling 1 acre lots for $300,000. No house on it. And of course, they're HOA. So what you have is really small lots cleared with houses already built for you to bid on. But it takes a lot of patience and a lot of time and a lot of imagination and fortitude, I would say. It takes a lot of work, sweat equity. Even if you're having somebody build your house, if you're not doing it yourself. To get land like this and to experience something that is pretty much close to being near to what even our American founders faced 300 years ago or so. And for that, it's rare, humbling, and an education. You can go to school and you can read books, history, political philosophy, which is good. Well, the stuff that is serious is good. The crap that they have in our universities these days is just, it's not education, it's propaganda, it's schooling. And the one thing that doing stuff yourself will do is it'll never let schooling get in the way of your education. And this is education. Not spoken of much, although, you know, there was a piece by Victor Davis Hanson. I'll have to find it again. He was interviewed by somebody from Hillsdale College, and there's people like Victor Davis Hanson, Angelo Codavilla, who had farms, but they couldn't survive totally on the farm. Part of that is because of the way that our federal government has so wrecked the ability for small farmers to survive and thrive. That's a whole topic different from itself. But this student who was interviewing him from Hillsdale said something like, the most interesting professors I've ever had are people who didn't just do academics. And that's, you know, I think that's true. I think there's something to that. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but they're very rare, and those rare exceptions prove the rule, I think. The trades, those who say teach electrician schools, HVACs, I'm not so sure if they really teach. I know they teach some carpentry now, but you pretty much have to get an apprenticeship with a builder to get that education. But if it does exist in a school, and usually a community college or something like that, maybe even engineering though, which you would find at a 4-year school. You want to get an engineering degree. Those professors who teach those classes, those teachers who teach those classes, usually are doing something outside. They're utilizing their craft to remain connected to real world problems and figure out solutions to those problems. Not to mention, they know how the regulations are good and bad, way better than academics do, who do nothing but academics. Or nothing but economics. I mean, economics is very good as a guide, but it's if you're not on the ground all the time, and maybe even doing it yourself, there's a certain wisdom you lack. So yeah, I guess in some ways I would have to say that if you don't do, you lack wisdom. And this is why I brought up that interview with Victor Davis Hanson. There's something more interesting about people who maybe teach history or philosophy or whatever at a university or a college that are more grounded and more aware of reality than people who live in ivory towers. And this goes for conservatives too. They become captured by basically their surroundings, and that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If you move to a city and you stay there long enough, even if you don't like it initially and whatnot, and believe me, I used to love living in Los Angeles, partly because I could go surfing on the Pacific coast and the waves are great, but you know, there's something lacking. And if you stay there long enough, you start to think like the people of your surroundings, and those people upon you will change ever so subtly and ever so incrementally what you think about politics and life. This happens to conservatives all the time who remain in academia for too long and don't do anything else. They become captured. They don't do the capturing. They are captured. And you see this in the cosmopolitanism of their political opinions. And that winds up in their academic writings, just ever so subtly. So it takes real determination. It takes real drive, if you will, not the Nietzschean kind, to get out from that and to take a risk to find out if maybe there's something you've missed. Now, of course, this is just my opinion about this stuff, so you know, feel free to disagree. But there's a reason, and this is happening on both the left and the right, although most of the people who go off-grid, I'm not going to go off-grid, by the way. I'm not like Thomas Massey, who is supreme and a very, very impressive individual who also serves in the Senate. If you should watch his off-grid documentary, it is fabulous. But those people who go off-grid, Homestead, which is different than off-gridding, but the two can overlap, and those who prep, the closest thing that I'm doing here is probably homesteading, but they take enormous risks to do it, and there's a reason they're doing it. Cities suck. The suburbs suck. For some it might be great, that's fine, but for others who wonder if maybe they're missing something, it takes a big risk for them to do this. They find out that they were missing something, and that is why there is a movement, I would say a quiet one, to get out of the cities, go more rural. Don't have to be in the country, although some, I mean, they completely go isolation. I'm not. I'm just far enough away that I have no HOA, and I can pretty much do anything I want here. Pretty much. Don't violate the rights of other people's property, of course, but... And the reason why people are doing that is because the cities are dangerous, they're woke, they're blue, they're violent, they're unjust, they're dirty, they smell. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but most cities in this country have been run by one party for over 100 years. And those that haven't been run by one party for 100 years are well on their way. Anyway, those are my thoughts. You know, just working without thinking about your life. And for the record, of course, was very academic at one point in my life, 100% all the time, 24/7. And You know, I may have stayed there if things would have worked out, but to be honest with you, I'm glad that I didn't. Part of that was my choice. Part of that, in certain instances, was not my choice. But sometimes, you know, things work out for the best, even in the darkest times. And I couldn't think of any place that I'd rather be right now than right here. Hard at work. It's not 24/7 hard at work here, but I put in a good 2-3 days a month. 12 hours a day or so. Doing something on this property. And though it doesn't look dramatic, there's something that is more real than writing an academic paper for about 100 people who will read it. 50% of those will agree with you, and you've done nothing to change life. Which may sound a bit harsh, I suppose, but there's nothing that says you can't have both for yourself personally. Hard work, and then reading the great books in the evening, which is, by the way, exactly what the American founders did. Exactly what Socrates did. He worked his ass off, gained respect because of his talents and skills at building, to be honest with you, and was a thinker. My professor Harry Newman would say that would be incorrect. He was a political philosopher. He was more than a thinker. And I think, you know, for all the criticism that my friend Bronze Age Pervert, who wrote an excellent book a few years ago now. Gosh, 8 years now? God, has it been 8 years? 9 years? God, it might even be, it's not 10, I don't think yet. But, and he said that every human being, man, woman, desire on some level owned space. Something that you can call your own. Something that you've done something with. Something that gives you room to breathe and swing your elbows, so to speak, without touching anything. I think that is a fundamental human need. And people who live in cities, and some of them I admire and respect intellectually. Like, I don't understand how the Red Scare girls do it. I mean, they probably, I don't know what kind of apartments they live in, but they have to live in an apartment. And, you know, in 800 square feet. Is that own space? I would say fucking no way. Maybe some people are just fine with that and satisfied by it, but I think on some level, especially if you have families, find a girl. If you're a guy, find a girl, get married, have kids. That is not going to be enough. And to pass off onto someone what you have done so that maybe they can pick it up and continue, let's call it legacy, is something very gratifying, I think, and worthwhile. I think that can teach a multitude of lessons that mere books cannot. But that end books, great books, can make a great soul. All right, enough pontification from the property. Hang loose. Sorry about that. Kind of went off on a ramble. Tomorrow's another day. We're going to be here tonight. We may leave tomorrow. Don't know yet. Some things are kind of up in the air about deliveries and whatnot. So have a good night. Hang loose. And we'll see you. This will be upcoming on a Sunday. Today's Saturday. Cheers. Just about getting ready for bed. Thought I'd drop a couple of fill in a couple of holes from what you just watched from earlier today, and that is I probably left out one thing, skill set, which has been with me most of my life, and that is working on my own cars and stuff. Part of that is own space. Part of that is knowing how to do things around the house, whether it's plumbing or working on your own car and fixing it and not relying on others makes you more free. Well, I would also say it's a duty for us to know how to, especially men. For whatever reason, it appeals to them more. I was kind of reminded of this because I found an old movie that I watched when I was a kid, and it's called California Kid. It's with Martin Sheen is in it. And it's really, the beginning of it is about mechanical knowledge and how the mechanical people who know how things work and go together and fit together and why they work and what makes things perform better is better than any government bureaucrat. That's really what that movie is about. Now it's also about justice, with an out-of-control government law official. But that movie sort of, I totally had forgotten about it. It's been so long since I've seen it, many decades. And so it reminded me that I should have said something about that skill along with being an electrician and HVAC and construction and whatnot. There's nothing more you could do to free yourself from the enslavement of modern technology than working on your own cars. And this is part of the reason why I have a problem with Tesla, because Tesla and John Deere tried to do this too. Right now it's up in the air. There's a lawsuit against John Deere for this, but they're forbidding people from working on their own tractors from their own vehicles. And Tesla, you can't work on a Tesla. It'll void the warranty. This is unheard of enslavement. And so, you know, it's part of the reason why I like older cars, because they are easier to work on, more reliable to work on. They also have better performance. And I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but that is what that's what I think on a fundamental level, that even though things might be better today, engines can last longer and whatnot. They're over-engineered and they break often, which I've noted on my channel. But I just I also thought that my criticism of I love the Red Scare. I think they're great. Politically, they have done yeoman's work for this country. But it'd be nice to see where they are in like 20 years. So it's not a criticism of them, because as I noted in the earlier section of the video, you know, I loved LA, and I would never really wanted to leave. But there's something about these cities that just wear you down. Not to, of course, we would be probably nowhere without them, because that's where you're going to find all major manufacturing, and back in the day where you would find the best steel made, that type of stuff. But they are increasingly hostile environments to live in. So, you know, it'd be nice to see where certain people wind up in like 20 years if they decide that, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I have a baby on the way, maybe I'm married. There has to be, I want to give my child a better life, and usually the city is not that. So, little parting thought, I guess, as getting ready for bed, and the fire is dwindling down, in the silence of the expanse of where I'm at tonight. It gets you thinking about things like this, I suppose. So I know I'm forgetting something else too, about the cities that I wanted to mention, but I'll probably remember that at 3 a.m. and wake up and not go back to sleep. So that's how things work for me. All right, take it easy. Cheers. Wake up, pray up. I just remembered what I tried to remember before I went to bed last night, as we were sitting here brewing coffee. Takes a while for perkers to perk up. Takes patience. So anyway, wake up, pray up. Sun is just about getting ready to rise. Moon is still in its good glory. And I realized what I was going to say, why people leave cities. Some people. And that has to do with the fact that the foodstuffs that we have nowadays are, let's say, less than optimal. So we started this trip with RFK Jr. getting nominated to be DHHS Secretary, Health and Human Services Secretary. And by the way, let me just say that this is going to be the most fit administration I think I've ever seen. The lowest body fat administration ever. But anyway, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the head of HHS, and he teamed up with Trump, which was a glorious thing, and I'm rather glad he did it, because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is right about what's going on with our food and what's going on with our vaccines. So that's the basis point for what started me thinking about this point that I'm making about food in cities and homesteading, and some of the topic of this video. And that is that one of the reasons why people leave the cities, suburbs, whatever, is because, you know, you're sort of captured by the grocery stores, if you will. I'm just talking about food out there. And when you're captured by those grocery stores, then that meaning you really don't have any option. You can't have chickens in your apartment or your backyard of your small plotted house, or you can't really have a big enough garden with which you can grow stuff, or even, you know, for God forbid, have a cow that you buy every year, feed, and then, you know, use for food the next year. after he's been butchered. So this is a big reason why a lot of people are leaving the cities, because they know our food is in dire straits. Our food products are in dire straits. Oh yes, we have perkage. I'll let that run for about 5 minutes. And what we are putting into our bodies is not making us any healthier. I'll tell you that right now. And part of that is because of what the federal government has done to so wreck the health system, which I started to mention and really didn't finish mentioning that point. Now, what do you do about that? The only thing that really somebody can do is grow their own food, sort of get away from some of it. You can't get away from all of it. Get away from some of it. You can grow your own food. You can get some chickens and raise them, which is not easy. It's not as easy as just buying chickens and raising them. And you know, sort of get back to a more sustainable, health-wise lifestyle. It's really the only option you have. Yeah, you can start buying organic, can't see my fingers, organic, I'm doing air quotes with my fingers, organic foods, but that is really hit and miss. Even reliable places is hit and miss. And you know, sometimes it's just unaffordable or out of the way or whatever. So the only thing you can do is to get your own spread, plant your food, at least consume most of it that you will need for yourself, and you know, then you'll live a healthier life. And I think that's a big push and reason why people are escaping and homesteading, to be honest, because they want to have some control over that which globalism has taken from them. Globalism doesn't mean choice. Globalism means less choice. All in the name of free markets, which was never the truth. Never was a free market. This push towards globalism. So a lot of that stuff that has happened has limited our choice, not expanded our choices. And I think the food, the healthy aspect of what's happening in the United States is just a part of that. And actually, I look forward to Robert RFK Jr. doing something about it and working it up. He's damn straight about it all. And you know, let's wish all of them the best. And for those of you who are thinking about doing what me and thousands of people have done and are doing, then, you know, do your research, make sure you know what you're getting into, and we'll see what kind of a day we have today. Our roosters are crowing, and I think my Bubba boy's ready to go. All right, catch you on the road. What are you doing? I was, see if I can find it. Probably because we destroyed so much of it walking around here. It's been a little covered, but there's deer tracks. I ran across some deer tracks everywhere. Yesterday, didn't, fresh deer track, didn't. I bet you Bubba has already sniffed it out and covered it up. But yeah, there were some deer tracks yesterday. this is a long driveway. As you can see, it's just down trees everywhere and thick brush. The sun's coming up. Well, it's already up. These are from Helene here. These all came down and we just pushed them aside. I was across the road. So a lot of these babies just got capped pretty good with Helene. It's a cold morning. Well, cold to me is anything below 70, but it's in the 40s, probably 50 now. So this is the only thing this tree is bugging the crap out of me. I like this side. This side is, I'm gonna have to get a scythe and come out here or something and cut down this grass so I can run a better line. But for the most part, everything is 8 foot on center. I'm about a 1/4 inch, little wave here because of this grass. This side's a little bit better because I took it down with what I could, and there's less footage. It's 52 feet there, or 54 there, 32 this way, and that's because the road does a little jog inward, and I'm staying 5 foot off the road to get plenty of room, especially once I clear the other side, which I started to do, as you saw yesterday. And these are 12 feet. Should be wide enough from the inside to their 12 feet. There should be plenty of room for just about anything to get in here. Well, at least something is semi size. Semis are about 9 feet, 8.5, something like that wide. But yeah, I don't like the angle. This tree, I just don't know. I mean, conceivably, you know, I'd want to get it away from the power line because, yeah, you know. And it's also a water oak, which they don't have longevity of live oaks. And part of the way you can tell water oak is they've got this ashy exterior to their bark, but also the leaves are more jagged than the live oaks. The live oaky leaves are like pearl shaped almost. It's really quite. It's an elegant leaf. It's an elegant leaf. It's the only way I can put it. They're not as they're more rounded. They're not jagged. You can see some of that right there on that one, this old boy. So what we're gonna do is sleep on it. This would be the fence that goes down. It's gonna follow the road. We're gonna be 5 foot off and just go straight down to the end, as a matter of fact. And but everything else is staked out on the front. And what bothers me is not necessarily the tree, it's the angle. So I mean, I like things to be as symmetrical as possible. So this angle is roughly 45 right here, but this is not. I went way wider over here. I didn't want to get close to the tree, and I wanted to leave room. I don't know. This is the one thing I'm really unhappy about. So this side I think looks good. This side here goes up and then goes to parallel to the road. I think that looks, as far as a layout, I think that looks great. I'll have to get down here and weed eat something, scythe something, some of this grass. The only way to take care of it is either weed it or something, but I like that. That's this whole section here is pretty much laid out. So anyway, I'm gonna sleep on it. I'm leaving today, so it's not like I'm gonna be around setting up posts this week. And we will go from there. All right. Top of the morning to you. Hang loose. Well, we're on our way home, and had a discussion this morning with the builder. Shipment didn't arrive yet. We had some equipment problems this week, and Bubba has worn himself out this weekend. He loves it out there. But we're on our way home, and we're going to go back down in a little over 2 weeks. Hope by then that the garage poles have been set, and the entranceway for the fence, some of that stuff has been cleaned up, and then maybe even those 2 poles have been placed, and the holes for the posts have been augured. I think he feels bad about not being able to make it out, so I think that part of it's going to be gratis. But all in all, it was a good trip. Probably the first time that I've left the property and been completely, I mean, I was sad. I didn't want to go. So, but I got to go back down sooner than I thought, and before Christmas. And hopefully we can get some real work done, at least on the fence, and then be finished cleaning up the front. It's been, cleaning up the front of that property has been really, for one guy, me, tough, hard work. But it's been gratifying to see things come along, even though it's coming along slowly. So that's it for this trip. We'll catch you later. A little while ago, some Harley riders came by who were patched. And of course, I had to give them the hang loose sign. And they gave it back, even though I wasn't on my Harley. So that was nice of them. Good part of the trip coming home. Traffic's pretty busy today, of course. It's a Sunday, and it's a Sunday afternoon, so you would expect this freeway to be just completely bonkers. Although right now it's not too bad. So we'll see you in a couple weeks when me and Bubba make the trip back down, and hopefully get some things built and some form starts to come to the property after a little hiatus. All right, hang loose, everybody. Cheers.